Welcome to the Blueprint Breakers podcast. What is a blueprint breaker? If you live your life outside the typical traditional lifestyle blueprint, you are a blueprint breaker. We are here to start a conversation, to assemble resources, and to build a community. This podcast is for empowered women in midlife and beyond who are preparing for a powerful next era of life. My name is Amy A. Palmer. I am your host and facilitator for our conversations. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. To stay connected, up to date, and to receive all of our free resources and gifts along the way, join us at community.blueprintbreakers.com. I am very excited to share with you that my upcoming ebook is in final stages, final edits, putting on the finishing touches, getting feedback from a couple of valued colleagues, and it will soon be ready to launch to the world. And I got to tell you, this is scary stuff. I never planned to put out an ebook. I never planned to write this particular book. So I thought it might be interesting to share a little bit about why and what happened and what it's about, etc. So first of all, my ebook is called Heal and Restore: The 7-Step Guide to Joy. As I said, no intention of creating an ebook. That wasn't a part of my original vision for this business, for this podcast, for this mission. And while I was in Bali at the Bali Business Boot Camp, I was talking to the other women, I was talking to my mentor, and it became clear to me that what I have experienced in recent years, the challenges are not uncommon. The hurdles are very, very common in terms of what I was facing and the depths that I was falling into, especially with pandemic and post-pandemic. And what I determined would be valuable would be sharing what I did. How did I pull myself around from that? I mean, I do get comments from people about how I seem to be much more filled with light and happiness and positivity and joy, and that I just seem to be in a very good centered place, and I am. And I just realized that it would be valuable to share how I got there, especially someone like me who I spent a lot of time in my head, a lot of time, analyzing, overanalyzing, very intense on action and tactics and strategy, etc. And so with the transformation that I went through in 2022, I really consider that sort of a demarcation line in my life before 2022 versus after. And it's such a vast difference. What I can say is, I heard somebody say this morning about how life is a full circle and we spend our lives trying to get back to us. And that was so close to one of the themes in my ebook about getting back to who I am at my core and who I was born to be and who I started out being until, society and conditioning and pain and everything sort of got in the way of that. So my experience in really peeling back the layers and getting back to me, who I am at my core, I felt compelled to share that. And I wasn't sure exactly how. I decided an ebook was a good start. And it's really created more as a guide. So you'll find that in the ebook, I share a lot of my very, very personal story about why I was in such sorry shape in all aspects of my life, why I was suffering to the extent that I was. And then I really break it down step by step on what did I do? What actions did I take? How did I turn things around? What was my approach? So I take it through step by step, and I ask myself the question, how does this translate to somebody else? Like, how can somebody else do the same thing or something similar? Not the exact same, we're all different, of course. And so as I converted my actions into a process, into a structure, I put that into an interactive guide where you can step by step take a reset, a refresh, revive, restore your life, get the joy back in it, discover new passions, rediscover old passions. That's what this ebook is all about. So I'm hoping that when it gets launched next week, I'm not even sure exactly what day yet. I'll let you know as soon as I know, but I'm launching it next week. When I launch it, I will also, in the first 24 hours of the launch, the first 5 people who purchase the ebook within the first 24 hours, I will offer a free one-on-one strategy and support session. My vision for that is once you complete the ebook and complete the guide, I can help walk you through it. I can help you figure out anything that you're stuck on, any questions that you have, any direction you want to take it. How do you want to customize this for your life? Because the whole point is creating a customizable blueprint for you and your life, what fits you in your way, with your priorities, with your preferences, etc. So first 5 people in the first 24 hours will get a session and we'll dive into that. I am so excited to do that. So that's all happening next week. So let's back it up a little bit. What did it take? Behind the scenes, giving birth to an ebook. Now, I've never given birth to a human, but giving birth to this ebook has been quite a process. It's been intimidating, a little bit overwhelming, scary. I'm scared to death to put this out there, guys. I just am. It's very vulnerable, very personal. So it's all of that, but at the same time, it's exhilarating. It's been healing. So it's been a pretty phenomenal experience with all the emotions all over the place. I can't compare it to giving birth to a child, but I think there's some of the beginning kernels of some of the emotions and experiences in that case. So it's been a labor of love. I've been putting a lot of time into it. I had no idea how to even approach it. I looked at other people's ebooks to take a look at how they did it, how they approached it. I've heard a lot of people who are able to crank out several ebooks in a month. I couldn't do it. It took a while. Luckily, I had the documentation of my video blog from last summer that really documented my entire journey. So that was a huge resource for me and a huge source of information, and it helped sort of take me back to where I was and how I looked at things and what was going on there. So that was positive. I also had a lot of the photographs. Some of the photographs in the ebook are actually from this location here. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I am at Green Lakes National Park. Several of the pictures are from here. My final ceremony for my sabbatical took place you can almost see it right on there on the other side of the lake there. So I had those resources to use. I had pictures, I had videos to take me back to exactly how I did it. And then I just fleshed out my story and told it. And in terms of the logistics, I went to Creative Market and purchased a template, an ebook template that you can customize. It's relatively easy. It's still not super easy. It still took a lot. I'm learning a lot about. I'm not a designer. I'm not a graphic designer, and I'm not huge with details and everything. But I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot about that. So I used the template to try to put it together. I've also used a distribution platform called ConvertKit on how to sell it and how to get it out there and how to email people about it. So those are some of the tools that I'm using. And I've shared my initial draft with a few people, a few valued colleagues to get feedback. I've shared it with my mentor to get feedback from her, to put all of the finishing touches. And the cool thing about an ebook is I can evolve it and improve it and change it at any point. So as you read it, as you get ideas or you have feedback or you have suggestions, you just send me a note, send me a line. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to incorporate your ideas and thoughts into it. I include a resource library in the ebook where I share a lot of the tools of support that I used throughout my sabbatical last year that was critical to my healing and my restoration. So if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling sort of resigned to your current life track and it's not particularly bringing you any joy, but you feel like it's too late, there's nothing else you can do about it, we're getting too old, or it's too difficult to completely change directions, this ebook and guide is for you. Heal and Restore, the 7-step guide to joy. And even if you're okay with your life, but you just feel like you need a refresh, you don't need a full-on complete pivot of your life, you don't need to completely change things as drastically as I did, but you need a break. And you want it to be more than just like a vacation or a day off. You want it to be meaningful. You want it to be impactful. This guide will help you with that. So if that resonates with you, please, when I launch it next week, go ahead and purchase your copy. And if you're not in our community right now, if you're not in the Blueprint Breakers community, you can go to community.blueprintbreakers.com. That puts you on the insiders email list where I keep you up to speed on everything that's happening, events, free resources, giveaways, and the insiders community will be the first to know about when it's available for purchase. So they will have an advantage to be one of the first 5 to be able to get that free personal session. What else? Anything else I needed to say about giving birth to an ebook? I hope you enjoy it. I'm nervous as hell about putting it out there. And if you appreciate what Blueprint Breakers has been doing, if you enjoyed our global launch party last month throughout the month of June, I would really, really appreciate your support in checking out this ebook, sharing the news with your friends, and just really showing your support to the podcast. Right now, the podcast is completely self-funded, so this ebook will help a little bit with that. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. I can't wait to get your feedback and your thoughts and your ideas. I can't wait to continue to evolve this guidebook. I can't wait to the private sessions because I really want to dive in with more Blueprint Breakers and find out specifically what you want to happen in your life and how you want it to happen. So all of that. So thank you. Go to community.blueprintbreakers.com if you haven't already, and you'll find out about the ebook launch coming next week. Ebbs and flows. Here we go. This is definitely a week of a lot of flowing. Feeling really, really good about various aspects of my life. As a reminder, this recurring segment, Ebbs and Flow, is where we check in on the different areas of our life that are in our priorities for us. I've categorized my life, the wheel of life, I've categorized it to fit my priorities and needs, and I suggest to you that you do the same. For me, my categories are fun, family, fulfillment, future. Let's see, what else is it? Hold on. Fun, family, faith, fitness, future, fulfillment. Oh God, that's really funny that the ones that I remembered that rolled off the top of my tongue were the ones where I'm in flow. So I'm in flow with family and fun and fulfillment. Absolutely. Even faith, I'm in flow. I feel connected. I feel centered. I just finished last weekend. I took on the massive but incredibly rewarding task of leading and organizing a family reunion of my extended family. First time in many years since we've all gotten together. We were missing several key family members, but this was like as many as we possibly could get together. We had it here at Green Lakes, up at the pavilion. It was fantastic. We had a wonderful time. Took a lot of work, took a lot of effort, but every second was worth it. The connections that were made, the reconnections, seeing the little kids and, connecting with our older generation. It was just all wonderful. So fabulous family time. And I'm here with my parents this week. So good time with them, with my aunts, etc. So family, fun, fulfillment, loving what I'm doing here, loving putting the finishing touches on the ebook. It just feels it feels fulfilling. It feels satisfying. It's satisfying. That's the word. Yes. So that feels good as well. EBS, probably fitness. Today's a gorgeous day, but we had several hot days. Too hot for a lot of movement. So I haven't gotten as much movement as I like to get. So I would say that's in ebb. Thinking of getting out there on the lake, jumping out there right behind me there and taking a kayak out on that beautiful lake for today. So that could help. And I'm also feeling a little bit ebb about home and space. And I'm not sure which category that's in. Maybe that's part of fulfillment. Maybe that's part of future, whatever. But I've been nomadic for over a year now. My last apartment I left in June of 2022, and I've been floating around on the East Coast ever since, and I've been loving it. And at the same time, what's ebbing right now is I'm kind of missing having my own space. I'm kind of missing having a place to hang my hat, and I'm kind of missing sort of being head of household, being the one in charge, being, having my needs come first, top of the list. So I'm missing that. And that's sort of ebbing and starting to build. I have rented an Airbnb for the entire month of August in a very small rural town. So I'm really excited about that, about having my own space. And I have so many things planned for the month of August that I want to do while I'm doing that. But those are my ebbs and flows. So my question now gets turned to you. When you look at the categories in your life, and what are they? They don't have to be the same as mine. So what are your categories? Which ones are ebbing this week and which ones are flowing? Since I've started doing this on an almost weekly basis, it feels good. It feels like making progress. It feels like growth. And it forces me to pay attention to things that are ebbing, especially if I notice that they're ebbing several weeks in a row. So I highly recommend picking up this exercise. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of the Blueprint Breakers podcast, Birth of an eBook. I would like to quickly share my disclaimer. I am not a therapist, doctor, lawyer, financial advisor. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. I encourage you to take what I share here as a launching point to discover what is right for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. And thank you for sharing this episode with your friends. If you have not yet signed up to become a part of our community, you can do so at community.blueprintbreakers.com. You will be among the first to hear about exactly when I release my upcoming ebook, Heal and Restore, the 7-Step Guide to Joy. Have a great week. Keep on breaking those blueprints and writing your own.